Wait, what is this? I thought we were done for 2025, Frederic. Yet I get a text message. Get your ass out of bed, get down to the computer, and let's record a quick scoop. This fine, at least US hours, New Year's Eve morning, New Year's afternoon, obviously for you. So we'll start off with a lovely New Year's Eve wishes to everybody listening and watching and say, you know what really I wanted on New Year's Eve? I wanted an update on what these rumors are with regards to Chiesa. Why is Çalhanoğlu on our list? Is Ruben Neves pretty much a shoe-in to join? Well, we figured let's give you guys some information before we all enjoy the festivities tonight because Frederic and I will be way too hungover or busy tomorrow to do another one of these. So that's our plan for this quick little episode this morning. We did go live just in case somebody was happened to notice and wanted to join us and ask any questions, but otherwise we will get right to it. Frederic,
Yes.
it is thanks to you that we have this show because you have get your inside intel.
hmm
But before we jump into that, how are you doing this New Year's Eve?
Pretty, prepping stuff for tonight and in between answering phone calls and texts. And that's also the reason why I texted you out of bed because we have a couple of developments, some very specific, but also some in general. So I might just start with that. Continasa's buzzing.
Mm.
At this moment, why is Continasa buzzing? Well, it's basically sort of a pact between Spalletti, Comoli, and management that they really, really want to get the most out of this season. Whereas a couple of months ago, we were down in the dumps and thinking that it was over and done with. They now want to push through and get reinforcements in as quick as possible, even in order for those reinforcements to be active within our squad and get time to adjust or whatever. So I know that Comoli and Modeste are doing nothing but phoning and conferencing and whatever. And it's very busy, buzzy, lively. So my guess is that Juventus will draw first blood on this transfer market. And the fact that tomorrow is New Year's Day and we probably will be out with a hangover or family requirements or what have you, I thought it'd be nice to talk about the names that we seen floating about in quick depth. So
Mhm.
thank you, especially to Mitchell and DR1S for joining the live. It was a bit unannounced and a bit quick and
It was
impulsive.
unannounced. It was unannounced for me. So yeah, it was unannounced for everybody. But this did hit pretty quick. You can still hear the sleep in my voice. So we're getting to this as quickly as possible. And I think we kind of will just backtrack for just a sec, Frederic, in case this is somebody's first time hearing about the scoop of what it
Yeah.
is and what we're all about. Got to do the housekeeping. Scoop is Turn Giants transfer program. We have the benefit of having the inside information I referred to earlier from Frederic within Juventus to know really what's going on about all these names you hear being tossed around by different Twitter accounts and different publications. Well, we actually have an inside source to give you that little dose of truth to cut through all the noise that always surrounds the transfer market, which of course opens tomorrow. It's our goal in these programs to largely give you that information. We don't say as much about our opinions, more so just kind of digging through what Juventus's position currently is with regards to these players using a temperature scale from ice cold, meaning it's an unlikely deal to happen, to red hot, meaning it is extremely likely to happen. Alrighty, Frederic, I think we can kind of get into it. And by the way, like, I have to ask the first thing right off the bat, based on what you said before about the Catanasa, buzzing, is that's got to be a product of winning 7 out of 8, right? I mean, that's just a current form of the team, the feeling within the dressing room, and so on and so forth. That has to have given management this jolt of confidence that we can meet our sporting goals and maybe exceed our sporting goals this year. Is that it?
There is a non-disclosed pact between everybody involved that the goal we set at the beginning of the season will not only be attained but only will be shattered.
Mm,
I'm not talking about Scudetto or anything, but it's very clear that Juventus want to have an impact on the competitions that they're entering, and they are very confident that they can do so with the team they have in place right now due to Spalletti's influence. But that also encouraged them to push forward and move harder. In fact, and this is not on the list, and I haven't told you, but the rumors are that it might be possible that Spalletti would already sign his extension in the end of January, February.
mm,
Comoli thinks that's a very good idea to show the confidence, to spur the dressing room a bit along,
mhm.
and just stating his faith in whatever is happening right now. And Spalletti wouldn't mind that. I think if that offer should arrive, I'm not talking about financial things here and there, but if that offer should arrive and there's a bit of, let's say, understanding between both parties on what they want to achieve with Juventus long term, then this might happen very soon because Juventus is very focused on coming back. Let's just put it at that. They're very hungry, very eager, and they're doing everything they can from Comoli to the kid guy downwards to bring back the days of old, which is good and one of the reasons why we started this live.
And I think extending Spalletti, if that confidence continues, is important to show continuity for a team that over the last 6 years has shown nothing but turbulence at the manager position. From 1 year from Sarri, 1 year Pirlo, 1 year less than 1 year Malta, less than 1 year Tudor, getting an established manager in who's working with the team locked down would give confidence, I think, to players coming here too, which is something I think we've lost a little bit. Real
Yeah,
quick, we're gonna switch the slides to the few names we have today, but we got people kind of filing in. You named a couple, Frederic. We got our good friends Patrick and Jack joining us. Shashko, and Alex, both frequent listeners and parts of and valued members of our community. Welcome all, wherever you are in the world. It is still 7:45 a.m. my time, so got my coffee and I'm waking up a little bit. Let's get into the names,
wait,
Fred. Well,
wait, wait.
do I have to play the
I,
drop?
I
Do I have to play
I'm gonna
your
need
favorite
the
thing ever?
jingle.
People, I gotta be honest, people were shocked, Frederic, when a couple days ago or in our last episode when I maybe gave them a peek behind the curtain that you hate the drop.
I hate it.
That shook people's reality. It shook mine a little bit, but I found out as well. I just try to keep it secret. Let's go.
I want to shout out to the people first. If you have any musical skills and you could do like a remix or whatever, let us know. It'd be gladly appreciated if we could change this, remix
Here we
this,
go.
do whatever.
We have Zwar twerk music in the chat. Okay, we need the twerk music remix of the Freddie Scoops drop.
We need it.
We need it bad. All right, here we go, Freddie.
And now, Freddie Scoops with the scoop. He's the best in the business, see?
Hit me.
Do you know the scene? I don't know if a lot of people know it. The scene at an Avengers Endgame where Thanos gets back to Wakanda and is all buffy and back to kill everybody mood and shout, "Bring me Thanos." That
All
was
right.
basically Kamoli this morning with a
Okay.
call with Ottolini, our soon-to-be sporting director. And instead of "Bring me Thanos," the words were "Bring me Tonali" in June.
Oh, in June. In June.
Yeah,
Okay.
but
So
it's
financially, it didn't make any. It's impossible in the winter, right?
no, but it's whereas because there were a lot of these Tonali rumors, and the thing I heard was that Komoli wasn't as convinced by Tonali, price and quality wise, and whatever, and something now has shifted, I think, and he basically called Ottolini and said, "This is your primary target for June." Ottolini confirmed and said it would be doable, and I don't know if this is true or not, but Ottolini still has some aces in his sleeve with regards to other players, of who I don't know the names of right now, but I think we'll get to that. But it'll be an after January thing. It's makeshift now for Comoli and the rest of the team, but Ottolini has been, given clear orders and clear objectives to get for our next transfer market period in July, August.
Well, needless to say, that will be a name kind of like Bernardo Silva, right? That we've been tracking for a while, that we will continue to have even after the January market. We did about one scoop a month in between markets, and we will be doing the exact same leading into the summer. And you can follow us on Instagram at Turn Giants, or individually, Frederic at The Scoop Juve, where we post scoops of the day when we get kind of really cool, really fresh transfer news in from him. So do that. All right, let's get into the names that we have today. Short list, though I will put you on the spot about Perrin, because there have been some rumors that deal that we reported, I believe, a couple days ago as hot is off the table. Can we start there, Frederic?
Yeah, we can. I told you before that the difference was 800,000 euros, 900,000 euros, something like that. And Genoa basically said, well, that's all we can do. And they wanted to put pressure on Juventus because they know that Perrin was gunning for that, move. But Comoli, being as stubborn as he is, I don't know if that's a good thing in this case, but time will tell. Said, well, then it's off. We don't have to lose Perrin. We'd be much happy to keep him, and either you give us what we need in terms financially for our books and our books to be in balance, or else it's off. And it appears to be off, but I'm gonna go with a little scoop of my own now. Parma, Cagliari, and Bologna acquired about the possibility of having Perrin in their squad. I don't know to what shape, form, or intent, but and there's also a Bundesliga team. I don't know the name. Sorry about that. That inquired about Perrin services as well. But we'll see. I think Perrin's going to be a hot item throughout January. So we'll see what lands there.
And Patrick in the chat makes a good point. It's one I raised 2 days ago, is we still have yet to have a keeper show up on our potential additions. And if Perrin goes, we need somebody else. It's just without question. So that's something we'll ask Frederic to work the phones on that one.
Or maybe we'll just do what we have until June, July, and have the Perrin replacement, or probably a keeper who can compete for first and second position lined up and ready already. That's also a possibility.
Can your heart survive a keeper duo of Digre and Pinso for 6 months, Frederic?
My heart is having troubles already, so we might as well shatter the whole thing and carry on for 6 months. So I'm sure they'll make the right decision. We also have some goalkeepers from next gen that are not too bad, not Juve material for a long amount of time, but we'll see what they do. But I'm pretty confident that they have backups keeper wise, aplenty. So
Gotcha.
Non-issue.
All right, let's get into it. First name on our list of 4 is a name that we had 2 days ago. It was if I'm not, I think room temperature at the time, Ruben Neves. We were, he's basically surveying the market back in Europe as to his services with his contract expiring in 6 months. Why is he on our list here? Why did we need to include him on this urgent early morning New Year's Eve edition of The Scoop?
Because following the news that I told, it was Mendes who picked up the phones, called Juventus, and said, is there any chance, if Ruben Neves wanted to anticipate his exit from Al Hilal, saying in January already, that you would be up for it, or you would be, reluctant? And that was very good news for Juventus because they're searching somebody, in that context, midfield area. And Juventus said, no, we're up for it. Let me know what he thinks, and let's work back and forth. Now his wage is a bit of an issue, but according to my source, Juventus would have no issues in offering him 7.5 million a year. They want basically the same as Jonathan David has right now.
Yeah.
They won't, or they're not eager to top that for now.
It throws the wage structure kind of out of whack, right?
Yeah. So they're kind of hesitant about that, but there is a lot of interest from Juventus, and the fact that Mendes picks up the phone and calls Juventus to me is an obvious sign that Ruben Neves isn't per se opposed to joining Juventus. So it's gotten a bit, in a bit of a, it's gotten a bit faster. It's gotten a bit more tangible, I think. And that's why I wanted to highlight his name, because the player alone ticks so many boxes that we are searching for. And yeah.
So what temperature are we giving him?
I'd put him as hot, to be honest. I'd put him as hot. Why? I think he's very eager to leave Saudi Arabia, and if he has a chance to do so in the January transfer market with a team that fits his standards, and I think Juventus is one of those teams, and we can pull it off financially, then I think it would be a match made in heaven. But there's still a lot of room for improvement and a long way to go. But he's for sure somebody that's a plausible solution for January.
Jorgo in the chat is not happy with the Neves rumors, certainly for the salary that you just reported. Let's go from one Al Hilal player to another. A name we should all recognize, João Cancelo. His contract, unlike Neves's, does not expire until next summer. So, and it's my understanding that it sort of the contracts in the Saudi Pro League are pretty aggressive in sort of keeping the people who signed for them there. Why is he on the list, and what likelihood? And I, like many of us, have seen the rumors and the pictures and the AI edits of him in different jerseys and so forth. What noise is there? What truth is there through the noise on him joining Juventus?
Well, it's one thing that is a certain fact is the fact that he wants to leave desperately. He also had contact with the management board of Al Hilal, and Al Hilal basically said, well, if you can find a team and we can, not get, too much of a loss out of the deal, then we're fine with that. And that's basically the first step you need to take, especially in Saudi Arabia, because as you said, they're very aggressive. They also have the money to keep a player just on the bench or out the squad and pay a salary or whatever. But they were very human about the fact that he misses Europe and wants to leave. But yeah, and after that, a lot of course, he's from the Mendes boat as well. So a lot of things were happening, but it's Inter that's in the lead for now with Al Hilal, because there haven't been any player discussions between Cancelo, his management, or the clubs. It was just club, and it was Inter at Al Hilal. Inter are offering a loan until the summer with an obligation to buy if certain conditions are met, and that's very good for Al Hilal, because that would mean they would also eventually make money off a João Cancelo transfer, which for them is also very good. Also, Barcelona have shown interest, but nothing concrete, and Juventus as well. Juventus just basically said, keep us up to date on how the situation will evolve. But Juventus is a bit hesitant on the character side of Cancelo. They don't have that much faith in how he's built, character-wise. So they're doing some investigating on that. They want to make sure that if they approach Cancelo or his management, that they will do so and strike gold eventually, because the technical ability Cancelo carries is unequivocally good, but it's more of let's look at the person first and then the player. For now, it's Inter, and that's why I put João Cancelo at room temperature. Because it's a long way to go. Nothing has been done because I read in the media as well. Cancelo, Juve, blah, 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 blah. Hold your horses. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Hold
I
your
think
horses.
I think this is the perfect example of sort of like cutting through the noise, right? There's really not any truth, really, to a Juventus and Cancelo sort of reunion.
I, I,
Um,
I I know for a fact though, and this is maybe this is my own opinion or my own experience. If Cancelo were to choose between Inter and Juventus right now, same wage, same everything, just
Mhm.
the team or the preference, he'd choose Juventus in a heartbeat. Why? A, he played at Juventus, he also played at Inter, but he has very fond memories of Juventus, and
Mhm.
B, he has worked with Spalletti in the past. So if it were to come down to a decision left or right, he'd pick Juventus.
I think the flip side of it though is Juventus has materially changed since he's been here from what Camoli's trying to build and so on and so forth. And I think just again to go towards my opinion, which we don't always do, is I don't think it's likely. I don't think he fits what we're trying to do with the team with his age and his salary and so forth. Let's move to and this is sort of the proper way to describe it. Antonio said in chat that he does not like Chiesa as the vice Yildiz. Well, that's exactly the role that Chiesa has been being talked about in potentially rejoining Juventus. Frederic is so stressed about this, he had to light another cigarette.
Yeah,
Chiesa rumors, we've all heard them. What truth is there to it?
there is truth. I'll just leave it at that. There is truth. There has been contact between Liverpool, Juventus, and Chiesa's management and Juventus. However, and the same with Cancelo. I'm reading things like almost done deal or whatever. That's not the case. Juventus want a vice Yildiz terribly. Spalletti in his conference with Camoli expressed his desire for a vice Yildiz because he needs that. He says the season's going to be longer than we think, meaning he has a lot of faith in the fact that we'll be competitive for a period of time in this season, and he needs somebody who can alternate with Yildiz because he said Yildiz is the only option I have, and he's of no use to me if we squeeze him out like a lemon for 3 games and then have to wait 5 or 6 games for him to regain a bit of fitness and a bit of and get a bit of rest. So it is a priority. Chiesa is not a priority in the sense that there are 3 names for the vice Yildiz's place, and 2 of them are not on our potential list because there's not much to talk about. But the names I received, the potential vice Yildiz's names are Chiesa, which I put at room temperature as well because there's nothing too concrete there, but also Daniele Maldini and Boga. So
Jeremy
these are
Jeremy
the
Boga, formerly of what Sassuolo. Where is he at now?
yeah. I have no clue.
I'll
I
find
have
out. I'll
no
find out real
clue.
quick.
Yeah,
Boga blew exploded onto the scene. I think it was with Sassuolo. I think he then went to
yeah,
Atalanta. He's at Nice right now.
yeah,
Um, and is a similar to Chico and Jagrova in the sense that extremely aggressive one-on-one dribbler type player, but like the aforementioned, has struggled somewhat with his final product in
yeah,
the box.
yeah.
Um, yeah, I just don't see this deal happening. I think the room temperature. I think the key message for folks is that anyone, like Frederic said, saying that this deal is done is getting way ahead of themselves and or is
Yeah.
projecting.
Also, the fact that Liverpool is struggling with some injuries and some Africa Cup people that are disputing the Africa Cup as we speak. So I'd be very surprised if Liverpool were to let go of Federico Chiesa so easily, knowing that they're a bit short-staffed in that position. So I mean, we tend to forget that there are other clubs who hold his card in their hand, and I'm not so sure that Liverpool is too keen or eager or to let him go that easily.
Let's go to the last name on our list. The last name that almost everybody in chat has expressed reservations about, concern about, not particularly excitement about. Why is Hakan Çalhanoğlu on a Juventus potential addition list with the scoop, Frederic? What has happened? Is everything, is the world falling apart around us?
I think so. I don't know what's happening. It might be a cataclysmic event because we were at the in the Avengers team in the start of the show. So maybe it is the end game right now. Who knows? And maybe with a snap of my fingers, I can undo a lot. But I just wanted to make sure that it's, that we're the first ones to call it. I think we're the first ones to call it. I haven't seen anything um, around social media or whatever. But my source says that there's some, back and forth between Çalhanoğlu's camp and Juventus. I don't know, because I texted him, could you give me some more info as to, how specific is it? How tangible or real is it? But he ghosted me once again. But there has been contact between Çalhanoğlu's team of managers, because he has several. And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, but it is a name that we're, in communication with. I don't know.
He's 31. His contract expires next year. So
Yeah.
not this summer. So it's not like
Mhm.
we'd get him on a free. He plays for Inter. This one, I just just like the Chiesa and the Cancelo deal. To honest, like none of it doesn't pass the smell test, as I call it. So what temperature are we giving Çalhanoğlu today?
I think pretty much the same as the two aforementioned ones, Cancelo and Chiesa, being room temperature. I also, and I'd even put him as cool. Yeah, cool, because I don't know. I think there has been some communication, but that goes for like 150 players during a transfer market. So it's not to say that something will or will not happen, but I think it was just fair to let you guys know that there has been some back and forth between Çalhanoğlu and Juventus. Whatever it will bring, I don't know. I'm not too optimistic about it. I don't think would be ecstatic if he should join, but I felt it was my duty to at least emphasize the fact that they've been in contact, which is already a small baby step.
Yeah, I think. Well, I appreciate these. I think many of this. I think that sort of the TLDR of this episode, other than Neves, is that there's not actually that much truth to some of these, or at least not a lot of advancement to some of these rumors that we've all seen the posts about on Twitter and Reddit and so forth. So we wanted to share that with you this fine New Year's Eve day. We will be releasing also today, as a New Year's present to y'all. Hopefully it's a present. Our It's Black and White episode where we debate the future of Cambiaso. So everybody, please look out for that. I'll be posting that, or look to be posting
Which
that
I
a little
won.
bit later. No, it's up.
I
For,
won
it's,
that episode.
no. It's up for. It's up to the people to decide.
Yeah, but for
And-
me, in my heart, for peace of mind and some mental stability, I thought it would be only fair if I considered this a win for myself. So
No. No. We let the people decide, and currently the people have said I'm 2-0. So look, it's up to well, let's be real. I spent the whole episode defending Cambiaso, which might be a pretty tall task. But we honestly need y'all to review it and let us know in the chat who you think won, and give us suggestions for future episodes of It's Black and White, our sort of one-on-one debate series. Jack, who was in the chat, I don't know if he's still there, has already called out Frederica on a topic. So we're gonna start getting in some guests to It's Black and White to debate. Now Shashko says the bald guy wins. Well, if in Jack's episode, he most certainly has a solid head of hair. So if the bald guy wins that one, Frederic, then you can put that in your cap.
I hope so. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge nonetheless. I'd also like to shout out a quick question from Mitchell White in the chat. He said, could y'all summarize all hot or red hot plays currently with this release and everything from last episode? That's a bit of a stretch because we have obligations. You're very welcome to, look back at the episode that we posted on YouTube or Spotify or whatever, but not much has changed actually. Just apart from the fact that Ruben Neves went from room temperature to hot because we made our approaches. And that's, I think, the biggest thing or the biggest takeaway from this episode that you need to follow up on. And I think that we'll be back soonish, aren't we, Zach? After New Year's Day.
Yeah, it will be. So Friday, we have our post game on Saturday, obviously, but look, y'all, for those who followed the scoop during the summer, it's one of these things where if something happens quick, and oftentimes these deals do, especially when management is successful at keeping the cards close to their vest. We hop on and it's ad hoc, right? Out of nowhere. Just like this morning, we pop on. It's like, hey, by the way. And so that's why it's really important to make sure you subscribe, set all your alerts and so on and so forth. We'll do the best we can to keep y'all informed. But like this morning, it was almost impossible to give y'all a heads up because I didn't get a heads up. I got dragged out of bed and rolled right to the computer.
Yeah. And for the people, in general, I think the first week of January, and this is just my opinion, my gut feeling, is gonna be a good one for Juventus. I think they want to get some players, or at least a player, in ASAP, because Spalletti really, really is begging for that. And some other news, just got a text right now about Fratesi, who we discussed in the previous episode. But they say that the offer that Juventus is proposing to Inter now is a loan with an obligation if Champions League qualification is met.
And that makes sense based on our situation. I don't know why Inter would accept that. I know that the player might want it, but that's sort of that three-way. You need to have a meeting of the minds between the player, the team, and the other team. So we'll keep y'all posted. Follow us on Instagram for the scoops of the day. But for now, because I need to start my day, we're gonna let y'all go. Thank you so much for joining us. For the folks who did this morning, have a lovely New Year's celebration, and we will see you again soon. Frederic, everyone in chat, thank you. And until we speak again,
thank you, guys.
As always, Forza Juve.